Winnipeg Bike Week officially rolled into gear this past Sunday, June 8th, kicking off a full week of two-wheeled fun and community spirit. Running until June 14th, the initiative, organized by Bike Winnipeg, aims to get people out on their bikes, whether for commuting, recreation, or simply the joy of riding. All week long, Winnipeggers can take part in group rides, workshops, and laid-back events that celebrate cycling and encourage folks to make the most of the city and this warm summer weather. One of the marquee events is Bike to Work Day, happening tomorrow, Tuesday, June 10th. It's the perfect excuse to skip the construction delays, dodge the traffic jams, and enjoy some fresh air on your morning commute. Bike Week is packed with activities for riders of all levels, and to tell us more about what's in store, I'm joined in the Classic 107 studio by Dave Elmore, board chair of Bike Winnipeg. Hey Dave, great to have you back.
Actually, I'll only make one slight correction there. It's not Bike Winnipeg, but Bike Week Winnipeg. So Bike Winnipeg and Bike Week Winnipeg, although they oftentimes get confused, we are two separate organizations, Bike Winnipeg being the advocacy organization, of which I'm one of the founding members, and Bike Week Winnipeg being starting off as Bike to Work Day, and once again, I'm one of the founding members. But so that's where we're at in terms of Bike Week and in terms of the two organizations. We're really looking forward to it's been a great Bike Week so far, and we're looking forward to sort of finishing it off as we culminate the end of Bike Week one more time for this time for 2025. We've been around since 2007 with the first Bike to Work Day, and then we transitioned after about 5 years into Bike Week, and so Bike Week has been around now for 13 years. So we're a staple. Yeah.
You have been riding your bike, I presume, all around Winnipeg lately. How has it been with the smoke?
It has its. It certainly presents its challenges, and I think it presents its challenges for everybody. Certainly, as you exert yourself more, you're breathing in more of it. For me, I don't find that it has a huge impact on me. A little bit on the eyes, a little bit on the throat, but I'm sure for some other people, other people that have any kind of breathing disorders or things like this, it's got to be very, very tough for them.
I know one of the mandates at Bike Winnipeg is to push the city to create bike networks that cyclists can safely travel on as they make their way around the city. Thinking back to when it started in 2007, are you satisfied with what the city's done?
Well, I don't think that we are ever satisfied. And once again, I guess I'm speaking on behalf of Bike Winnipeg now. I am still currently quite involved with that, with them as an organization. I'm not one of the chair or not one of the board members. However, I think that we would all agree that there's way more that needs to get done. And, when you visit other cities, you say, well, okay, now that we should be doing that. Or even following things on social media, you see things and you say, why don't we do it that way? And why don't we have more protected intersections? And why don't we do? And admittedly, the city of Winnipeg has made progress, and moving forward, they are planning to spend more money, which, I guess to some degree they'll be playing catch up, right? Because they had their so-called award-winning pedestrian and cycling strategy, which ultimately they got way behind on, and so if anything, they're trying to catch up. I would say, as I said, I think that we all can agree they're doing better, but there's much more that needs to be done, and probably more money that needs to be spent. And unfortunately, that always tends to be that the point at which we run into a roadblock.
Can you talk about maybe 2 or 3 things that cyclists can do to keep themselves safe while they're on the road if they can't be on a bike path?
Well, I am a cycling educator, and so some of the things that I stress, and one of them I stress the most actually, is I find the most important thing is communication. Is those hand signals, is actually making those hand signals so that people other road users understand what you want to do. And oftentimes, the honest truth is I find they let me do it as long as I let them know well in advance that's what I'm doing. Even, things like shoulder checking, because that's part of your communication. You shoulder check first, then you signal. I mean, you don't want to not look back before you actually throw your hand out there. Then you signal, and then you just shoulder check again before you actually make a move. But even that shoulder check is important, because the moment you look over your shoulder, drivers are thinking, okay, I know he wants to do something. What is he up to? Right? So you're making, even that is communication. That would be one thing. The other thing is I try to encourage people and try to get people to understand that they need to take more space. When we're talking about general riding down the road, you want to be about at least a meter away from the curb. You want to give yourself room to maneuver should you have to actually move in any direction. It allows you, if you're a little further out from the curb, should you actually have to dodge something, you might be able to move towards the curb as opposed to into traffic. And the other thing really is about consistency and being consistent in terms of the way that you riding in a straight line, so not weaving in and out between parked cars, and of course weaving out around parked cars, making sure that when you are clearing those parked cars that you are giving them lots of room, because that door zone is not only bigger than you think, it's very, very painful if you happen to run into a door.
I was biking a couple weeks ago. I was on the Rapid Transit Way bike trail, and some guy had broken down. His tube blew. For those that are wanting to do long bike rides, like I like to do around the city, can you recommend like 3 or 4 things that they should carry with them if they're planning on doing something that's a little further afield?
Well, actually, once again, as part of the education thing, it's one of the things I always talk about to people about. If you're going to be a commuter, there are things you need to carry, right? You need to have a way to make minor adjustments, but a flat tire is everybody's arch nemesis. Nobody wants a flat tire, but you need to be able to deal with it. So what I usually tell people is, one, you need to have tire levers in order to get that tire off. You also need to have a patch kit, and ideally, you should carry a extra tube, right? That doesn't always help you, but having an extra tube makes that change all that much quicker, and then you can always patch that tube when you get back. And of course, you need a small hand pump with you so you can pump that tire back up when you're ready to go. There are some interesting clips, things you can Google in terms of how to change a tire, because I'm always surprised how many people don't understand it, and it becomes a fear for them. What if I get a flat? I don't know how to fix it. They're not that difficult. It's just something you need to sort of school yourself.
Educate yourself on.
Absolutely.
I want to turn to Bike Week. I was looking at the calendar on the Bike Winnipeg website. The week is chock full of events. And one of the things I noticed this year, and I might have overlooked it last year, is the pit stops. Can you talk about those for Bike to Work Day?
On Bike to Work Day, we have pit stops all around the city, actually. And so the way that works is that various organizations or groups will sponsor a pit stop, and oftentimes it's close to their office or close to where they're, or they actually, most often they pick a spot along a very busy bicycle route, because of course they want to see traffic, bicycle traffic.
Right.
And those run usually from 6:30 till 9 a.m. And so they're all over the city. So you can look at the bike map and you can just kind of go from one to the next to the next to the next. And when that closes at 9 o'clock, we open up what we call our all-day pit stop from 9 until 2 at the Forks for all those people that, they work nights or they work evenings and they're out and about during the day. They still have the opportunity to stop by and sort of, with those pit stops, sometimes there's swag there, sometimes there's refreshments. But ultimately, it's a great place to sort of stop and chat with other people who are riding to work. You never know who you're going to meet. that's all along your way and say, well, you know what, I ride that same route at the exact same time. Why don't we do it together? You know, so that's a great way to sort of connect with different people. We also have something we call Ride and Go Seek. So if you go to 8 different pit stops and get a signature, you can enter to win a prize. So that's always great. On Bike to Work Day, we also have a group ride. So we have one that we started at Assiniboine Park, and we sort of drop in and stop at different pit stops along the way, and it's just kind of a fun event for people who've got a little more time. And the honest truth is, some people jump on board somewhere along, and some people drop off somewhere along if they're headed to work. So you know, there's that. And talking about pit stops, we also have something this year. We're having an after work pit stop. So we've got 2 of them there's 2 of them. There was one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, and those are basically after work opportunities again to sort of connect. And both of them are at breweries. One of them being at Good Neighbor Breweries, and so it's a good opportunity. Come and have a cold refreshment and chat with other people who ride to work. So.
Sounds great. And there's going to be events for kids as well. Like I was on the calendar, and I think at the end of the week there's like a kids ride as well, right? There
is, and this is the 3rd annual. It's something that I've been trying to get going. I was trying to get going for years. It's called Critical Mass. Now, if you've heard of Critical Mass, this is Critical Mass. Now, it happens in a lot of different cities. And as I said, I've been trying to get this going for a number of years, and ultimately it's kind of a family and kid ride, and it's very family friendly, very calm route, and basically we just take a short route, and then we do some bike decorating to start, and then get the kids excited, and then we do maybe half the route to stop and maybe have some refreshments, and then we carry on and finish the ride actually at the Manitoba Legislature where we have our weekend wind up. So that's a great opportunity for the kids to, we'll have ice cream or something for them, and that just excites them even more. So that's always a great thing. So we ride, and they end up at the legislative at the party, right? So there's events and activities at that wind up it's family friendly. That's what it's all about. So there's an opportunity to get your bike repaired. There's more decorating, there's kids' activities, there's all kinds of things.
Speaking of family friendly, one of the other things I noticed this year is just up the street here at the Y, at the corner of Fermor and St. Mary's on Friday. I think there's like a bike party, right?
There is. What we've done is what we did was we partnered with the YMCA to have basically a neighborhood bike party at 3 of the YMCAs. So there's the one up here in the South Y, and then there's one at West Portage Y, and there's also one in EKY. So we're having 3 of them through the period of Bike Week. And ultimately, it's kind of the same thing. It's a family-friendly thing where there's going to be bike tune-ups and decorating and bike activities, etc. And the nice thing is that everyone's welcome. You don't have to be a YMCA member. You can just drop by and find out more about Bike Week, but also find out more about the YMCA. Yeah. And I guess I've got a little side sort of hustle for me is that I'm actually a spin instructor at the YMCA. So I'm a volunteer spin instructor at the YMCA too, and I've been around that organization for a very long time. So I think it's great that we've had an opportunity to partner with them.
Mm-hmm. The group rides that are happening throughout the week are free. You don't need to register. You just need to show up and ride with a bunch of people who love riding as much as you might. What are the advantages of doing group rides?
Well, you know what? That's one of the great opportunities during Bike Week is for people to join in on a group ride, especially if they're people who are a little uncomfortable, because there's a couple of things that happen on those group rides. One, you get to meet other people that ride their bikes. And once again, those opportunities to meet and sort of connect with people that you could ride with. But when you ride in a group, there's a confidence level, right? Everybody's more confident. Yeah. And all the group rides are led and controlled by, experienced cyclists. So you're never really in any level of danger, and you're just out there having fun, enjoying the ride. And as I said, it helps build up some of that confidence. The other thing it does, especially with a lot of the Bike Winnipeg rides, is that we try to feature some of the infrastructure that exists, and some of the gaps that exist as well, so that people understand this gap exists, and maybe this is how you could actually get through that gap. So there's opportunities there as well to learn a little bit about the city, connect yourself, especially maybe in your own area, so that you can use your bike. You want to go to the store, but you're not really sure how to get there. Well, you might just find out, there is this route here in this quiet street. It's perfect, right?
It's safe. It all sounds so fantastic. If people want to find out more details about the schedule for Bike Week, where can they go? Do you have a website address?
Absolutely. BikeWeekWinnipeg.com is the place to go. Check out our schedule. Actually sign up for our newsletter, and you'll receive that newsletter. As we know, it's kind of Bike Week is sort of coming more towards the end now that you're at the time of the broadcast. So we're just, it's an opportunity as well to get connected for the next Bike Week. If you sign up for that newsletter, we kind of try to keep people up to date as to what's happening, when it's happening, and of course, getting people excited about the week to come.
Perfect. Dave, this has been so great to have you back in our Classic 107 studios talking about Bike Week 2025. I hope the week is a big success. You can bet I'll be out this week exploring the trails. And thanks so much for taking the time to stop by and talk to me today.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. Thanks very much.